Hello, beautiful people. We are here again with another episode. Sarah with you. As always, I'm happy to be back to bring more skills, more knowledge, more learning tips. I learn, I come and share with you guys. And I appreciate your support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And thank you for just being an awesome community. Our topic today is on how to scale from 100 goats to over 1,000 goats while remaining profitable. And we are going to look at different factors and different points that are going to help you achieve this goal. Being able to scale from a small number of goats to a big number of goats. Basically from a small scale to a large scale farmer. And some of these points are obvious. We've talked about them over and over again, but it's good to come back and re-emphasize them. And the first point is you need to start with a strong foundation. Know your numbers. Numbers are very important, and that means you're tracking feeding costs, you're tracking your births, mortality rates, knowing your market prices, you're keeping track of your daily routine, making sure that your workers follow a certain routine religiously, because consistency is what is going to make the difference from you being a small 100 holder goat farmer to over 1,000. The second one is focus on breeding performance before expansion. So a lot of times we are quick to expand without really understanding our breeding performance. What do we mean by breeding performance? I don't want you to start with 100 goats today. You go look for more money, add another 100, look for more money, add another 100, so that you can get to 1,000. No, the focus and the proper way to do it is start with 100 and learn your breeding performance, meaning you're studying your females. Which of these females are productive and which of them are not productive? Then start winning them out, because some of them you find that you buy goats and then you get at the farm and some are not able to actually get pregnant. So if you're not studying your breeding performance, you're not able to identify that this goat and this goat are not performing well, are not producing, because when you practice natural synchronization, you're able to produce your goats in one period of time. So that allows you to know this goat gave birth, this goat gave birth, and this didn't give birth. So you go back to the drawing board and ask yourself, why didn't it give birth? Then you're able to identify the strong goats that you have and focus on those ones, the ones that are giving you twins. And with proper management, you make sure that you're giving them good meals so that they continue reproducing effectively. That is how you gradually scale, because scaling can happen in different ways. You can choose to keep adding, like I said, you keep adding, you solicit funds, you add, you solicit funds, you add, but that is not gradual and it's not growth-based scaling. So you need to make sure that you understand your numbers and you understand your breeding performance. Additionally, standardize your management practices. This includes feeding, deworming, and vaccination. We have vaccination schedules. You need to understand which vaccine you're supposed to give at what age. 1 month, what vaccine are you supposed, for instance, within the first month, you're supposed to vaccinate against Clostridium. Then, what month are you supposed to vaccinate against PPR? What month are you supposed to vaccinate against CCPR? So you need to really understand and standardize your management practices. That means writing down these vaccination schedules. If you vaccinated against PPR, write the month in which you vaccinated that disease. It helps you monitor costs so that you're not double vaccinating, because most of these vaccines are supposed to be given once a year. But if you're not keeping records and you're not standardizing your management practices, you're not able to remember which vaccine you gave, and you end up either not vaccinating efficiently or over vaccinating. And that really eats into your profit and it hinders your ability to scale. Focus on controlled breeding. This means that you need to identify high-performing bucks. Bucks are males, guys. Some of these technical words can confuse us, but they shouldn't confuse us. Bucks mean the male goats, whereas does mean the females. Does and nannies are females. So make sure that you select high-performance bucks to improve herd quality. This, when you have a good herd and a quality herd, it means they are free of disease. It means they are stable. It means they are efficiently dewormed. They are sprayed every single week. Here at Aire Farms, we spray every single week. I think we spray every Monday for the goats and then every Sunday for the cows. So making sure that your herd is high performance is really important, and it's going to help you in your growth journey. And it's going to enable you to scale from a few animals to a lot of animals as time goes by. Also, under controlled breeding, make sure that you synchronize your breeding. I've talked about natural synchronization. This controls births. It's important. I think if there is any pillar that you need to master in goat farming, it's natural synchronization. This helps you to control the births, to know how many are coming in, but also to allow you to plan, to know that, okay, in the first production, I produced, out of 100, I produced maybe 120. I'm going to save 70% of those offsprings towards the growth of the herd. And then the other one, the 30%, I'm going to sell so that it can help me run the business and also make some money for myself. So synchronizing your breed is really important. It helps you get those big numbers, and then you're able to plan the percentages, what percentage to reinvest and what percentage to sell, so that you can continue running your business and remaining profitable. Also, under controlled breeding, make sure that you record your genetics and cull poor performers early. I've mentioned it previously that some of the goats are not going to give birth. Some of them are infertile. So understanding that, you know what, I need to keep record of my genetics, and I need to keep record. Sometimes the kids that are born are not high quality. All of them are not high quality. So you go through, you select, and that's what gives you the 30% that you're going to sell. That is culling out the poor performers. Then, importantly also, aim for 2 kidding sessions in a year. Goats are able to give birth twice a year. But if you don't properly plan and manage your herd, you can find that you're missing out on the second production. How are we able to ensure that our goats are giving birth twice a year? One, again, is practicing natural synchronization. You bring in the males, they mate, you take them out. Then after the goats have given birth, you bring them back. That allows them to go back on heat and get pregnant again, so that they are giving you babies twice a year. And remember, the more babies you get in a year, the quicker you're able to scale to your target number. It could be 1,000, it could be 10,000, it could be 20,000. Some people are aiming for 100,000. Why not? You know, all these are things that are going to help us meet our target numbers. Another point is investing in skilled labor and training. Labor is very important. I have shared that when I was just starting my farm, I identified a farmer that was already doing this, that was qualified. He happened to be a veterinary doctor as well. So I took my workers there for training. They acquired skills. Eventually, as I grew, I was able to hire a professional and qualified veterinary doctor. And now, because of the quality of workers that I have, we are actually we are able to do in-house training. Whenever we hire new workers, we are able to train them ourselves. But this training helps you to, one, reduce mortalities, because your guys understand the practices, they understand the first aid treatments, they understand the importance of hygiene, so they make sure that your mortalities are reduced. Two, it allows you to maintain quality, because if you're training your workers on knowing what a good quality animal is, they're able to identify, and that's when they go back into culling. And because they're the ones who are going to help you in this selection. A lot of times, us, the owners, are hardly on the farm, but our workers, our team members, are the ones that are on ground and are the ones that are effectively ensuring and putting into practice these management practices. So training our workers is really, really important. Use incentives for your workers. Here at Aire Farms, we have a very popular incentive whereby every year that any person stays, even staff members with Aire Farms, they earn a goat. We keep that goat for them, we treat the goat for them, we of course provide feeding for the goat, and they are not allowed to sell those goats until after they are ready to leave. This is aimed at ensuring that they accumulate a good number of animals before they leave, but it motivates them to stay longer, because someone, a guy is going to say, you know what, let me dedicate my 5 years, so that at the end of 5 years, I've earned 5 goats, but those goats have been giving birth twice a year. So that means I could potentially live with 50 goats at a minimum. And with the skills that they would have acquired here at Aire Farms, if they've been saving some money, they might be able to purchase a small piece of land and do zero grazing. And then they're able to really contribute towards the community, because they're also going to go out and hire other youth to work on their farms. So this helps in, it really helps in not just growing our farms, but growing our nation at large. Another way that would allow you to scale from 100 goats to over 1,000 goats is make sure that you expand infrastructure smartly. Grow slowly but steadily. Don't come and, if you want to have 5 structures, you put all your money in all 5 structures at once. That means you're left with less money to put into the herd, of which the herd is the one that contributes towards the growth of your farm. So grow gradually and slowly. For instance, we started with 1 structure. Then when we grew, we added another structure. When we grew, we added another structure. Of course, you have to separate the males from females. So we have a separate structure for males. Now we've started separating the nannies from the rest of the herd, so that we can control our breeding and avoid inbreeding. Inbreeding hinders growth, it hinders performance, and it's going to hinder you from scaling your farm. Now guys, this is a very important point when it comes to wanting to scale your farm. Make sure that you secure reliable food sources. We know that here in Uganda, we have dry spells, especially in this area where I am, in Kayunga district. We have really, really bad dry spells. So in the beginning, I was just free ranging, and during the dry spells, we would face challenges when it comes to feeding. And we were able to grow gradually into now planting our own feeds. So that has helped us. You can see, show them this. This is a full storage of feeds. These feeds can last us 2 years if we are only feeding during the dry spell. But we are also growing into modern farming methods. So we want to do a more semi-intensive feeding schedule. Some of the good forages like napiers, like super napier, we have caliandra, we have alfalfa, we have chloris guyana. These are really important. It's a mixture of both carbohydrates and proteins. Like alfalfa is very rich in protein. Make sure that when you're planning your feed schedule, you at least have some alfalfa because it's going to give you good protein sources. This is mostly carbohydrates because you have to make sure that when you're planting your forage, you're balancing the diet to ensure proper growth and nutritious feeding of your goats. Another point is strengthen disease prevention. Diseases can completely set you back in goat farming. I'm going to share a personal story from my recent experience. I had someone that owed me goats, so they brought me goats, and unfortunately, those goats were infected with diarrhea. They came, and imagine we do quarantine before we mix the goats. But again, it didn't stop that disease from spreading to the rest of the animals. And we lost a good number of animals because of that. So you have to make sure that if it's possible, invest in your herd at once so that you avoid adding new stock. Because when you add new stock, a lot of times you don't know what disease it's bringing, the new stock is bringing. When you add new stock, a lot of times it destabilizes what you're already doing. So make sure that when you're investing, from my personal experience now, if I'd known, that's what I would have done. I would have saved more and invested and kept growing from what I've invested and multiplying my goats without adding. Make sure that you're vaccinating your animals, because if you don't vaccinate, you're going to get outbreaks, PPR outbreaks, Clostridium outbreaks, all these other diseases. And once you get that outbreak, before you have it under control, you've lost animals. And that makes it very difficult for you to scale, because it's like you're working backwards. You grow, and then an outbreak comes, and you're set back really, really badly. So disease control is important, and mastering it is going to help you scale from 100 goats, as an example, to over 1,000 goats. Additionally, another point that can help you scale is managing your finances and cash flow. Make sure that you have the practice of reinvesting, because sometimes, not just farmers, but even business people in general, you make sales and you're excited and you start spending the money without reinvesting. I've talked about reinvesting at least 70% of your offsprings so that you can sell 30%, helps you run the farm, helps you pay yourself. And this 70% that is reinvested facilitates you and enables you to reach your goal faster, your target goal faster. So let us learn and get in the habit of reinvesting at least 70% of our offsprings. Then track cash flow monthly to avoid overspending. This is also a common business practice, but it will also be helpful when you're trying to scale and grow your farm to over 1,000 goats. I talk about vaccines. It's important to start with a good number of animals, because these vaccines come in doses of 100 per box. So if you only have 50, you're going to waste 50 doses on vaccinations. Feeding. Make sure that you're tracking how much you're spending on feeding your workers, because that can eat into your profits and it can hinder your growth as you go forward and as you try to meet your target of either 1,000 goats or 10,000 goats. So guys, I've shared some really important points and considerations that you need to put into practice if you are wanting to grow your farm. If you have a dream of scaling from 100 goats to over 1,000 goats, or even 10,000, or even 20,000, or 100,000, why not? We are here to revolutionize agriculture, and it means that we want to move from small-scale farmers to large-scale farmers. That is the way forward, and that is the new African dream. All the best.